I apologize for keeping you waiting. It's been quite a day. But hopefully it'll be worth your while. So the title of today's talk is called A New But Not Improved. And what I want to speak about is something that I'm sure you've heard spoken about before, but perhaps not in this way. Maybe yes, but maybe not. And we're going to speak about happiness. Now, I think that we have to first quantify why is it happiness is the topic of a lot of discussions. And everyone has a different take and they get to a different angle. What is it about happiness that we're so obsessed with happiness? The simple answer is because every single thing that we do in life is either to bring us happiness or to avoid unhappiness. Absolutely everything. Even things that don't directly bring us happiness, we know will ultimately bring us happiness or help us avoid unhappiness. For example, if you get a shot to help you become immune to something, so you're not happy, you don't enjoy having a syringe put in your forearm, but I'm just turning this off. But you I'm sure will enjoy not getting ill later on. So it's something that warrants speaking about again and again, and we're going to maybe take a more technical view of happiness, what it is and what it's not. The first question that has to be asked is a very basic question, which is, why do we want to be happy? What is it about happiness that we strive to be happy? Yeah.
It feels good, it's distracting.
One at a time. It feels good. Yeah. It feels good to be happy. Yeah. Great. That's an advantage of being happy is you get those endorphins, you feel really good.
Places.
Oh, okay.
You have better relationships.
Oh, you're going to give all the answers? No. Excellent. Look, let me take that second, the third thing that you just said, actually. Better relationships. Better relations. Okay, if you're a happy person, would you say that it's possible that you would be a better mother to your kids if you're a happy person? Do you know of people who are not happy and their kids have suffered from the fact that they are unhappy or perhaps even depressed? Right? It's a sad reality that the kids are often the karbanos of the mothers not working towards happiness. So, and that it's also true of the husband and wife. If the wife is happy, I know when my wife is happy, it just makes me happy. And when she's unhappy, what should I do? I got to make her happy now. So I'll run out to the bakery and get her a bunch of Napoleons, or I know that makes her happy. And then some women like big grand gestures, like diamond earrings. My wife just a little thing of sushi. That's fantastic. So that makes her happy because I want to be in a happy marriage. As a matter of fact, what many women don't realize is that when the husband comes home and the wife is unhappy, it drains us of our energy. It sucks our energy out of us. And when we see that our wives are happy, it emboldens us. It becomes like the Popeye spinach. Yes, I know how to make my wife happy, and I'm a good husband, and I'm a good father, and I have a happy home. Oh, she's not happy. What am I doing wrong? Whatever it is, I'm sorry. Okay, let's just get back on track again. So happiness can create amazing relationships. Now, you said relationships, and there are many different kinds of relationships. Let's speak about another kind of relationship. Friends. Just ask yourself, do you want to be around a friend who is constantly happy, upbeat, joyous, or do you want to be around someone who is always complaining, who always is kvetching, who is always sad, who's always depressed? Well, to a little degree, if you're around someone who's kvetching, then it makes you feel important. It gives you a place within the relationship. But it's very draining after a while. You don't always want to be the shoulder that one leans on. As a matter of fact, if you want to know what makes a person attractive, well, in the beginning, when you first meet someone, it could be their outward appearance, their symmetrical figure and face, but eventually it's the smile. It's the welcoming. It's the person saying, you know what? I am happy because you're around and you make me happy. So who doesn't want to be around? How cathartic is that? How lightening is that? So we become loved, we become popular, and we develop wonderful relationships when we are happy. I don't know, as Chata'ayin and Mazke, I grew up with television, and there was a certain show that it was actually a film that the star, the name of the film became so famous, and the star of the film became so famous that it became a word in the dictionary. The name of the movie was called Pollyanna. I don't know if anyone has ever seen it. It's a very, very, very old film from the 1963, I believe. And Pollyanna starred a actress by the name of Haley Mills, who today is a much older lady. And she was at that time very young. And she comes into a city, and I think she's orphaned, and she's staying by an aunt. But she just sees the good in everyone and everything. And the town that she comes to, everyone is depressed, and everyone is sad, and everyone is serious. And Pollyanna does not realize that she's supposed to become like them. She just remains very Pollyannish, which is where the word comes from. It comes from the movie. I don't know if you've ever heard the term. Someone's Pollyannish is someone who sees the beauty and the happiness, just oblivious to everyone's sour face. And you're sour, it's okay. I still love you. I'm still happy. And this little girl on her own transformed the entire town. And in the end, the girl was in somewhat of an accident, sort of a depressing ending. And the whole town came out to visit her, to do bikur cholim, as it were, because the town gave her credit for bringing back life. All you need is one little girl who's got this energy and this happiness. So your relationships can really flourish if you're happy. What other advantages are there to being happy? Mm-hmm.
You yourself are more productive.
100%, right? If you are happy, I actually tell this to people who are a little bit down in the dumps. I say, what's a small pleasure that you enjoy? What's a small pleasure? I said, give yourself that small pleasure. Because we have to, in the Muslim movement, so we say, got to stay away from Hana, but in our generation today, we have to identify. We're not talking about Hanos that are usher, but you have to identify the small things. Do you enjoy taking a warm bath? So, fill that up and give yourself a warm bath. Do you enjoy microwave popcorn and a diet soda? So at night, have a Seder. Right? You yourself become more productive if you give yourself those small indulgences. What other advantage is there to being happy?
Connection to Hashem.
Connection to Hashem. That's a very holy answer. Very good. Adina, you're right. You're right. It gives you a tremendous connection to Hashem. Okay, but I want to put that aside because that's going to come in later. Okay, so this is what I wanted to bring out. That's a very, very big deal. You see, we are people, and we think health is only the chemistry within us. It's very biological, and our chromosomes, and our white blood cells, and our red blood cells, and our immune system. The truth of the matter is that happiness has the ability to make us healthy. As a matter of fact, if a person is happy, they live longer lives. I read one study that happiness versus stress and depression can add 7 years to your life. The number is probably higher than that. It's probably higher than that. 7 years is just simply biologically. But the truth of the matter is that if a person is happy, they will put themselves in situations where they won't get sick in the first place. So really, it's very possible for a person to live much, much longer. As a matter of fact, they have done tests. They did tests on dolphins. They took a dolphin and they secluded it from its friends so that it wouldn't be able to play, wouldn't be able to have happiness. And this dolphin just got sick. It got sick from not being able to have friends and not being happy. And they make sure that there was a fellow, a doctor who came in and started dressing up like a clown. It's a true story. And the kids actually got better. And today, that is part of the medical field, is this kind of therapy, where it's called laughter therapy. And they just try to increase the endorphins and allow the immune system to kick in. Happiness does it. Takes away stress. It helps you avoid a heart attack. There's so many things. That's basically what happiness does for us. Now, I'm going to throw out a question, but I'm not going to give an answer to it. We just mentioned a lot of things that happiness does. What happens if what we're going to do makes us happy according to some of the conditions that we just mentioned, but it will make us unhappy according to other conditions? For example, what if I do something that feels good, which is one of the things that make me happy, but is bad for my relationship? We could have competing happinesses, and then we have to sort out. That's one of the great dilemmas. So let's speak about happiness and try to figure out what different kinds of happinesses there are. My 7-year-old son came to me once and he says, "Tati, I know why you do everything for me in life." I say, "Why?" He says, "Because you want me to be happy." I said, "Oh, what a smart Yingala. That's right. I love you. I want you to be happy, so happy." So he says to me, well, he has an agenda. He says to me, "Well, I noticed in the cupboard that there is this new pack of wafers. And they're the big pack. It's got 3 colors: the orange, the brown, and the pink. You're really full of food coloring. I noticed that there are these wafers that are there. It would make me happy to eat them." Smart kid. He cornered me. So right away, the parent in me kicks in and says, "No, I'm not going to give it to you. Number one, they cost like $5, so I'm not going to." Right? Number 2, we're eating dinner in a half an hour. Number 3, it'll give you bad eating habits. Number 4, it's bad for your teeth. And I'm trying to explain to my 7-year-old why he shouldn't be eating it. Does he understand? No, because he's 7. So I decided to teach him a lesson the way that parents teach lessons. What did I do? I took it out of the cupboard and I said, "You know what? Knock yourself out. Eat whatever you would like." So he doesn't believe that I'm actually allowing him to eat. So he opens it and takes one gingerly out of the pack and sort of stares at me to see if I'm testing him. And I just turn around, walking away. Okay. So now he sees that I'm actually letting him eat them. So now he's excited and he begins to wolf down this pack of wafers. And he's got dust and crumbs everywhere, pink and brown, and it's all over. The kid finishes 2/3 of the pack. That's a heroic effort, you got to admit. 2/3, and then he's all full, and he's feeling good and not so good anymore. And now it's getting less good, and soon he looks very ill. It's a lot of sugar in those wafers. And eventually, he runs to the bathroom, and he vomits up a multicolored vomit. I'm sorry for that. And and I figured, okay, there he goes. He's learned his lesson. He's never going to do that again. And if he'll know now that it's a bad idea. Did he learn his lesson? No, because he's 7. 7-year-olds don't learn lessons. And if the next day I would offer him the same wafers, guess what? He would do the exact same thing. He would eat it. Because 7-year-olds have a certain understanding of happiness. That is called instant gratification happiness. I want something. I want it now. I don't really care what the effect is it's going to have on me. I just want it. This is going to make me happy. That's how children are. They don't know how to play out scenarios. He doesn't understand. Yes, there's supper. Yes, there's eating habits. Yes, there's a dentist. All he knows is, these look delicious. I want to eat them. Case closed. Then he gets to be a little bit older. He gets to be in his teens, 17, 18, 19, 20. And soon, another inclination kicks in. And that inclination is the inclination that tells him, you know what? I do want to be happy, there's no question. But I don't need the happiness to come this moment if I can be assured that there is more happiness to be had in the future. I can delay my gratification now for long-term gratification or happiness. And that's what we do as adults. Why do we go to school? Why do we go to school? Who here, I don't know how many of you are still in school, but out of those here still in school, how many of you just love taking finals? Don't you love those? How about papers? How about 15-page papers? Do you just love, yes, here we go. You know, here we go. 15, page 1, B'siyata D'Shmaya. You know, after 3 lines, stuck over here, 14 pages and 24 lines to go. Right? Really? Do you like going to school? You like midterms? You like homework? So what do you go to school? I have a much better idea. Go shopping. Every day. Right? Do you enjoy shopping? Go shopping. And not only that, you don't have money? Use a credit card. And then go shopping. Why don't you do that? Why do you go to school? So, you ever ask yourself that question? What am I doing in school? School is just a pain. You know why you don't ask yourself that question? Because you know if you go to school, you get an education, you can get a job, you can make a parnasa. Great. And then once you make a parnasa, then you're able to shop. Or put down money for a house. Or put down a mortgage. Or buy something that you really want that you couldn't buy if you didn't go to school. So you've delayed your gratification. Now, Jerry, do you remember when you were younger and someone asked you to go babysitting? And you babysat and you got your $3 an hour. Or actually, it started with like a quarter an hour, to be honest, right? You got a quarter an hour. Okay, eventually you got $3 an hour. And then you babysat for the neighbors all night long. You made $15. The next day, what did you do with that money? You right away bought the nash, right? Nash, and you shot. And that was it. And then you kept getting money, spending money. And then eventually you say, you know, if I save up that money, I could buy something a little bit bigger. Now, not huge. We're not talking about a house, but maybe I could buy a little tape recorder. I could buy a little this, a little that. And then as time went on, you've learned to save more money, but kept on delaying your gratification for greater happiness. That's how adult happiness works. Adults say, I can delay it now for greater happiness later. So here's my question to you. Remember we said children, they want that instant gratification. They want to be happy, they want it now. That child who you once were, that child inside of you, did that child ever leave?
Hopefully, yes. No.
Never left. They never left. The child is still there. You just acquired an additional adult voice. The child in you that wants it and wants it now is right where it always was. He still wants it, he wants it now, and he doesn't want to take no for an answer. But now there's another voice. And that voice says, you know what, maybe a delay. No, I want it now, I want a delay. That defines every battle you will ever have on earth. In your time here on earth, every battle you ever battle will be the battle of the child versus the adult. As a matter of fact, you know what that child and adult are called? They're called Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara. That is actually, see, some people picture Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara. You know what a Yetzer Hara is? It's that little guy sitting on his shoulder, and he's red, and the pitchfork and the horns, he's got the whole ensemble going, and he wants you to be bad and mean and brutal. And then you've got the good inclination. What does he look like? White. Gotta be white. Pure. He's got a halo. He's got that frisbee on his head, right? Not sure what that is. There you go. And you got the white guy. And they're fighting each other, bad versus good. That's not what's going on. Look at the Torah. That's not what's going on. They both want the same thing for you. They actually do. Both your Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara, they both want the same thing for you. They both want you to be happy. They both want you to be happy. Just the Yetzer Hara wants you to be happy this moment, and the Yetzer Tov says, no, wait, because there's more happiness to be had later on. The child is the Yetzer Hara. That's why it says in the Torah, Ki Yetzer Lev Ha'adam Ra Min Ura. What does that mean? All little kids are wicked and evil? Yetzer Lev Ha'adam Ra Min Ura. Everyone's wicked. You ever hear that? only when you're bar bas mitzvah, then you get a yetzer tov. What does that even mean? That means all little kids are evil. They only seem that way. But the truth is, kids can be good, right? I got 11 kids. I can make these jokes. No, the kids are wonderful. So what does it mean? Ki yetzer lev adam ra min urav? The ra is not evil, that he wants you to be bad. And the ra is the fact that he wants instant gratification. And he doesn't know how to play out scenarios. All he knows is what makes him happy right now. The yetzer tov says, wait, there is more happiness to be had. Okay, so now we've defined different kinds of happiness. Let's go back to our original question. What do you do when you have happiness agendas that do battle with each other? So here is the simple answer. Just cut to the chase. The very first thing that... What was your name?
Abby.
The very first thing that Abby said, that happiness makes me feel good, that reason for happiness must go at the bottom of the ladder. Because that reason is child's happiness. Child's happiness is, it makes me happy. Now, we all want it. What's that?
Saying it's not even that's your motivation. I want to be happy because it feels good. It's just that it happens to be a consequence of happiness.
Or the reason that a person does what they do.
So that's not my motivation, I guess.
Oh, but for a lot of people it is. You know what? For me it is. I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes I eat when I'm full.
I'm saying, are we in the
Did you ever eat when you're full?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, why? What's your motivation? Not to nourish yourself. Right, because it feels good. So we do a lot of things where the actual goal is to feel good. Now, we shouldn't. I know, 100%. 100%. We're not bad, we're not evil, but it's who we are. We do many things that feel good. Now, when we're adults, we have to understand what happens when we choose unwisely. I'll give you a brutal example. This is a brutal example. Pardon the example. It's a brutal one. Husband and wife are married, happily married. The husband is in the office late one night, and he's approached by the new secretary. He's approached. This is a brutal example, but it's a today example. He's approached to do things he shouldn't be doing. Will it make him happy right now to do it? Yeah, probably will. Will it feel good? Probably. If he uses the child in him to make that decision, you know what he's going to do? He's going to do what he shouldn't be doing. But if he uses the adult in him that say, 1 second, let's play out, let's delay that happiness now, because what's going to result in the future? Well, what's going to be with my marriage? What's going to be with my children? What's going to be with my home and my family and my life? It's the child in him that won over. That's what we say. Yeah, it's a horror one, but it's the instant gratification that won. So the fact that it feels good has to be put all the way at the bottom level. Okay, so that's a little bit about happiness. Now, we need to figure something out, because I started off and I led you down a certain road, but that road is not quite accurate. So I'm going to backtrack. I did it on purpose, but now we're going to backtrack. I said that what we are looking for in life is happiness. We're all looking for happiness, or we're looking to avoid unhappiness. The truth of the matter is that's incorrect. We're not really looking for happiness. It's one of the grand mistakes that we make. Not only is it a mistake, but when we look for happiness, we won't find it. It's a catch-22. If you look for happiness, you don't find it. What we're really looking for is truth. And we know that when we find truth, we find happiness. Now, it doesn't always mean that it's got to develop. It doesn't always mean that we're going to find amazing happiness. Sometimes the truth is going to be brutal. But even that, the Gemara says, Ein simcha ka'ataras hasfeikus. Let me give you an example. A person has a best friend growing up, and they become business partners. And they love each other, and the business is thriving, and it's just going fantastic. And then one day, someone mentions to one of the partners, we'll call him Ruvain, someone mentions to Ruvain, you know your partner Shimon? I would keep my eye out if I were you. I notice, the books, things aren't really adding up. I'm just telling you that as a friend. So Ruvain begins to notice, and he's looking, and he sees things that he's got questions about. He never really noticed, never really bothered formulating the question, but now he has. And now he's got a dilemma. And the dilemma is as follows. Option number one, option A is, you know what? We're best friends. I think we have an honest relationship. I think it's going well. Let's just let sleeping dogs lie. And, let's just keep on going. Option B is I'm going to hire a private investigator. I'm going to figure out exactly what he's doing. And let the cards fall where they may. What would you choose? Option A or option B? Would you want to know whether you are being ripped off of a large sum of money? Or do you say, let sleeping dogs lie? You would pick option 2?
Yeah. Why can't you just talk to him?
He denies it.
He's ripping you off.
He denies it.
You wanted to
So the answer is as follows. Most people, I picked a benign example. I could have picked a marriage, and then I think you all would have agreed, where the wife begins to suspect that there's infidelity on the husband's part. And she could choose option A, I think I'm in a happy marriage, or B, things may not be as happy as I think. Would you choose A or B? Okay, so then it becomes a little more obvious, right? I have a question for you. If you choose B and you hire a private investigator and you find out that things are not the way that you think they are, you may lose the happiness of your marriage. You may lose the happiness of your relationship. Excellent. That's the thing. Happiness is based on truth. If the truth is that there's infidelity, so the happiness itself is fake. We look for truth, and through truth we find happiness, and not the other way around. And not only that, but when we reverse the order and we look for happiness, inevitably we almost never find it. Let me give you an example. You've got a very wealthy fellow, a billionaire, and he comes into a party, not Jewish, comes into a party, and he has on his arms an 18-year-old girl who clearly does not look that intelligent. She just looks like a trophy. Let me just be kind, okay? And he goes over and he begins to introduce, he's 80 years old, okay? And she's 18. And he says, yes, I finally found my soulmate. We connect on so many different levels. And she's so intelligent and she's so smart. And people go over to her. Okay, very nice. What's your name? And she says, my name is Candy. Okay, great. Where are you from? What country? New York? Okay, and they're looking at Candy and they're saying, my goodness, how could this be? This is a fellow who's so intelligent, he has vanquished every foe. He has beaten each and every person of his... He has swallowed companies alive. And here he's being bamboozled by this 18-year-old floozy. How could this be? How is this happening? And you know what the answer is? It's very, very simple. He reversed the happiness-truth paradigm. That's all he did. Instead of looking for truth and then understanding that where truth lies, there lies happiness. Instead, he looked for what makes him happy. And he looked at her and said, oh, she's going to make me happy. And then he tortured the truth to fit the happiness. Well, if she makes me happy, thus she must be intelligent. She must be smart. She must be my soulmate. And she tortured truth to fit happiness rather than understand that truth is an outpouring, that happiness is an outpouring of truth and not the other way around. Okay? So therefore, what we're really looking for is truth, and from truth comes happiness. Can we understand this, how this works? Now, let's speak a little bit about how the world understands our weakness. Now, the weakness is like this. It's as follows. We have lived with the child in us much longer than we've lived with the adult in us. We've lived with the notion that what makes me happy now is true happiness. And even though intellectually we understand I should be waiting, but inside of us we say, you know what? This really turns around, this really tastes good, this really feels good. The child in us still has a way of dominating. And I think we could all admit to cases where the child in us absolutely, look at a smoker. Look at the guy who smokes. And he's been to the hospital, and he's got lung disease, and the doctors told him he's going to cut his life down by 15 to 20 years, and he still smokes. Now you ask him, do you love life? I love life. I mean, I wouldn't be living if I didn't like life. I'm not sure if that's true. Think about that, huh? Do you love life? Yes, I love life. So why are you smoking? Because I love smoking. Well, life without smoking is not worth it? Perhaps beyond what he could think. But really, he can come back from the hospital, and he could swear up and down, you know what? That last operation was brutal. I lost a few limbs, right? Because sometimes smoking can produce a certain disease that they have to amputate limbs. It's well known. So the guy's going in a wheelchair. He's got no legs. Okay, I am going to stop smoking. Never again, never again, never again, never again. Then he goes to a party, and one of his friends had a baby boy. Come, cigarettes for everyone. So l'chaim cigarette. Go have it. And he's, okay, just one. And he say, are you nuts? You're an addict. You lost 2 legs. You're going to kill yourself. What do you mean just one? The child in him dominated. It's a tremendous danger when the child dominates. So we have to figure the following out. The world says there are many things in life that are beneficial to us. Owning a shirt, owning a dress, a car. It's very important to own a car. Why is a car important? Here to there, right? It's important. So you got to get to work. If you look at a car commercial, it will never say, buy this car because it will get you from here to there in one piece. Maybe Volvo would say that. But other cars wouldn't say that. Instead, what do? They often have a very pretty lady, and she's sitting on the hood, or he's driving by, and everyone's waving. And the notion being, if you get this car, you get the lady. Right? It's a package deal. Right? There was a fellow who really wanted to sell a certain product, and his name was Mr. Klein. So he went over to an advertiser, and Mr. Klein said, "Listen, I have this product, and I want everyone to have my product in their home. I want it to be cool. I want it to be fantastic. I want it to give life. I want it to give self-esteem. I want it to give courage." And the advertiser says, "Wow, what is this product?" He says, "It's underwear. My first name's Calvin." I want everyone to view my undergarments as, wow, you put on Mr. Klein's underwear. You are cool. You're going to get the girls. You're going to get the guys. So now, you know what? Do you know how the advertisers sold Mr. Klein's underwear? Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you the secret. It's very simple what they did. What they did is as follows. They said, okay, which is the demographic that wants to buy Mr. Klein's underwear? Which is demographic? Okay, demographics. Okay, you're 14 to 35. That's the main clientele for Mr. Klein's underwear. Okay, let's figure out what are the things that this demographic wants and needs in life. They really want. Okay, they want to be loved. They want to be respected. They want to have pleasure. They want to have good job opportunities. All of these things, and they made a list. Very simple. This is what that demographic wants out of life. Now, what are the fears of this demographic? I won't have friends. I won't be loved. I won't be respected. I won't get a job. And then they took those loves and those fears, they put them together, and they put together one of the most successful commercial campaigns ever in the history of products. Mr. Klein's products were everywhere. They were on billboards in Times Square. And if you look at the billboards, right, what were they selling? So they had certain people, and they're dressed in these undergarments, and they've got that look about them. And the look about them, that look like, I could care less, but I care a lot. Right? That look that says, you know what? Just being me and dressing what I dress in, I'm going to get what I want out of life. And people went rushing to the store to buy Mr. Klein's underwear. What they sold was a dream, was a farce. It was ridiculous. What they sold was the child in us. The child, that insecure, that I want the pleasure, I want it now. Give it to me now. That's what this is how advertisers sell everything. Did you ever see a product that says new and improved? New and improved. Now you stop and you think, okay, new and improved. What is new? The detergent, all. The detergent oil. Yeah, you use all? You wonder how they came up with the name all? Right? He flipped open a dictionary. Okay, let's pick. Okay, I can't decide what to call it. Let's just call it all. We'll call it everything. Okay, all. So we have all, and all can make the whites whiter and the colors more colorful. And now it is new and it's improved. How do you know? Well, we don't know. Unless you're the guy in the commercial who dipped the red sock in, dipped the other red sock, rubbed it on a paper, looked, I guess, it could be redder. I mean, maybe it's just the lighting. Now this one looks redder. Yeah. No one would ever know whether it's new and improved, right? It's impossible. But why do they do this? Because the promise of new is the promise of the child. The promise of change. The promise of it's different. I have a new beginning. I have a new start. I can get a new start on my clothing. I can get a new start on life. Give me new. Give me new. As a matter of fact, it's such an effective way of advertising something that you can even go to the store, I don't know if you ever see this, where you buy a product and it says on it, brand new bottle, same classical formula. Did you ever see that? Brand new bottle, same beautiful product. So who asked you to change the bottle? The bottle was perfectly, you confused me because I couldn't find the product. Brand new bottle. So why make a new bottle? Don't tell me you made a new bottle. Brand new. Half the bottle's taken up by the words brand new bottle. That's what's new about it, that it says new. Brand new bottle. We're ridiculous. The advertisers know how ridiculous we are. We go along with it, and they just keep doing it. I just went to a store. I wanted to buy one of my favorite scotches is Drambuie. Drambuie for years. I've drank Drambuie. So I go, and I'm looking. Where's the Drambuie? Where's Drambuie? I'm looking. Where's Drambuie? So finally, it's over there. And I take it, and it says, brand new bottle, same classical formula. I was so happy with the old Drambuie. I'm not even sure. Maybe they did change something, but they're not telling us. Right? It's ridiculous. By the way, this doesn't belong in Torah anytime, but I will let you know that they are about to change the formula of Heinz ketchup. They are. But they are not going to announce it because they're scared. I know it was in the news. They're going to add 25% less salt for health. And they say if anyone wants to see it, they'll look at the label on the back. Because when new is a little bit scary. Do you remember many years ago when Coke came out with New Coke? I don't know. You remember that, okay? We date ourselves. Right? New Coke. There was Coke. And for years, Coke used to be made with cocaine. You know that? Yeah, of course. With cocaine. And then the government made them take it out. Yes, you had your cocaine fix by buying Coke. So Coke eventually decided to make New Coke. And it said New Coke, and then people began drinking, and it tastes like Pepsi, which it did. Ew. So eventually, people got upset. They rebelled against Coke. Coke got very scared, so they made New Coke and Coke Classic. And then eventually they phased out Coke, New Coke, and then there was only Coke Classic, and eventually they took off the word Classic, and it was back to Coke again. And we're all happy. We are so grabbed with the word new that we don't know what to do with ourselves. Do you know every politician from the beginning of time until our latest president has campaigned on new? Change. There's going to be new. There's going to be change. It's going to be different. It's new. And we're Jews. We say new. Where's the change? I don't see any difference. It's the exact same. Bills are still high. The deficit is still high. No, but it's new. It's new. And we all want new because the new is our salvation. The new is the kid in us that says, oh, just give it to me now. I want it. It's going to make me happy. And you know what? In a few years from now, in the 2012 campaign, I don't even know who the candidate is, but I can guarantee you one thing. He will campaign on change, and he will say, new, there's a new era. This is who we are. Because we're not in touch with emes. We are not in touch with reality. We don't understand that the things that really bring us happiness are things that stand the test of time. That things that last. That things that have proven their mettle over the years. We don't get it. To us, it's all new and improved. It's all newfangled. And because of that, we're a lost generation. Let's take this one step further. One step deeper. And by going one step deeper, we're going to be able to go full circle. We said that we're not really looking for happiness, but we're looking for truth in our lives. And ultimately, truth will bring us happiness. Maybe not instantly, but eventually truth will. What's the definition of truth? We just define happiness as truth. Now I need a definition for truth. What makes something true? We like to throw around that word a lot. True, this is emes, this is true. What is true? How do I know if something is true? So the answer is an interesting answer. I know if something is true if it stands the test of time. That is the highlight, that is the hallmark, that is the imprint of truth. The longer something lasts, the more grounded it is in absolute reality. Ask yourself a simple little question. We have dreams and we have real life. We have them both, dreams and real life. Where do they both take place? Where do we experience a dream? In our mind. Where do we experience real life? In our mind. No, in our mind. Right? If I eat a pizza, but my mind is not working, the experience is completely lost. Everything registers in the same place. So why is it that dreams I give no credibility, no credence to, but real life, oh, it's real, this is real. Why is that true? I should look forward to going to sleep at night because I'm going to have this awesome dream, hopefully. And if not, it's going to be a very scary dream. But it's real, just as real as real life, because it's all registering in the same place. Why is it that we don't look at dreams like that? The answer is because dreams have no continuity. What happens today has no effect on tomorrow. One night I can die in my dream, the next night I can fly. One night, that even rhymes, right? One night I can yell at the boss in my dream, and the next night I am the boss. In real life, if I yell at the boss, well, what happens the next day? Right, I'm looking at the help wanted section, right? There's continuity. Things last. The longer something lasts, the more real it is. What lasts longer than anything else? Hashem. Hashem lasts longer than anything. Thus, Hashem is the Mikara Emes. Hashem is the, that's why it says, Chosama Shal HaKadosh Baruch Hu Emes. What do we say about Hashem? V'hu haya, he was, all the way in the past. V'hu oveh, he is completely in the present. V'hu yiyeh, he is completely in the future. He is, and if you take was, is, and will be, boom, you squish them together, you get Hashem's name. Because it says, Chosama Shal HaKadosh Baruch Hu Emes. You want to know if Hashem was here? You want to know if Hashem okays something? Look at the imprint. If it stands the test of time, then it is true. Understand that? So now we could go full circle. What did we say was the difference between child happiness and grown-up happiness? Child's happiness is instant gratification. Instant gratification, by very definition, does not stand the test of time. Thus, it's not grounded in emes. See that? The more something stands the test of time, the more true it is. And we said that real happiness is happiness, that adult happiness that could stand the test of time. I could delay it now because it will give me longer happiness later. The greatest happiness of all is Olam Haba, because it is the greatest truth of all. Let's bring this down to a practical level. We live lives of desperation. We do. We want so much out of our lives, and many of us live with the clock ticking, ticking, ticking. When am I going to get married? How old am I getting? When am I going to get a job? When am I going to have a family? When am I going to buy a house? And we're nervous. And we don't understand how in the world are we supposed to be happy. It's a very scary thing. And then we get to be a little bit older. And then maybe we're at the top of the hill and on the other side on the way down. And then we get even more nervous. What's going to be the end of my life? Will I have accomplished? Will I have made life an amazing endeavor? Will people look back and say I've made a grand difference? And the entire exercise is an exercise that tells me, you know what? I need to be happy. So here's my advice to you. They say when people invest in stocks, or more so mutual funds, when the market goes down, they should not take their money out. Because don't worry about it. The market goes down, then the market goes up, and then it goes down, then it goes up. Sometimes it goes really far down, but eventually climbs back up. Over a long period of time, the market goes up. If you just give it time, if you just stay the course, happiness will be found. And you will be the one to find it. That's how you will make money, and that's how you will find simcha in your life. I want to tell you, I'm coming right now from a wedding. It's a very wonderful wedding. The girl who got married is a balas tshuva. She's one of my students. She is 37 years old. I am sure that in her life, and especially since she became frum about 7 years ago, she looked in the mirror or tossed and turned at night and wondered and worried, would it ever happen for her? And at the very same time, there was another girl. Now this other girl actually gets the credit for this second girl becoming frum. Because this first girl, or whatever it is now, this first girl was the one who brought the second girl to my house for Shabbos. This first girl did not end up becoming frum. So I invited, let's say, girl A. She brought girl B. And girl B ended up becoming frum. Was 30. It's a balas tshuva for 7 years. And got married. Actually, her chasana is still in the middle of going on. The other girl did not become frum. She very much enjoyed her parties. She very much enjoyed living life. She desperately wanted to find a guy, but not at the expense of the temporary happiness. And I was thinking about it on my ride here today, a very long ride here. I was thinking about it, and here is this first girl. And if you look at her, she looked like she had everything going for her. She was very becoming looking, very smiley, very popular, but her goals in life were not long-term happiness goals. They were never grounded in emes. And so she is still looking. And this other girl who she brought was a little bit older. They didn't look alike. One would not necessarily have predicted that the second girl would find her bashert, would find her happiness, would find her home. And yet, she stayed the course in Yiddishkeit. She held on for dear life. She listened to her rabbeim. She listened to her teachers. She kept her davening. She kept giving tzedakah. She kept doing chesed. She kept doing all the things that Hashem said, wait, my dear children, wait. You will find happiness. And she did, just a few hours ago. So I was compelled, on the way here, to make a phone call to girl A. I wanted to call her up, not to rub it in her face, chas v'chalila. I wanted to call her up to thank her for bringing girl B to my house for Shabbos. And to let her know that although she is all the way out there in Los Angeles, her one-time endeavor of bringing her friend bore beautiful fruits. And today, in the sunset in Monsey, New York, this girl found her bashert and got married. But maybe in the back of my mind, to be honest, I was sort of hoping that girl A would maybe perhaps reevaluate what she has prioritized until now. And maybe the life of Los Angeles parties is in contradiction with true happiness. And maybe eventually, at some point in time, we have to choose whether to be children or whether to be adults. Thank you very much.